Thanks for clicking. Welcome to a new video. The Sephora sale is here. And if me and you were to go shopping, these are the products that I would lead you to and pick out for you. So the absolute best, the best. I do have some products for different skin types and different needs, so we'll go with that in mind throughout the video. I did get this video idea from Allie Glines. Full credit to her. Give this video a thumbs up if you love Allie as well. Sephora sale guide. Let's get into it. Drinking some Liquid Death today with red lipstick on it, of course. Starting with primers, I would ask you what kind of skin type you have or what kind of primer you like. If you like a smoothing primer, more of a glowy primer, or both. So starting with more of a smoothing, slightly mattifying primer, I would totally recommend the Smashbox, the original photo finish. This is a classic primer for a reason. It's silicone based, it just smooths everything out, does the job, is non-irritating, at least to me. And you know, there's a lot of stuff that's similar to this, but honestly, this one is just the original. It's great, it does the job. Can't go wrong with a Smashbox primer. So if you said you liked a glowy primer, I would say, do you like something a little bit more moisturizing, has a thicker consistency, or do you like something that's thin and gives radiance to the face? If you answered the first option, I would recommend the Bobbi Brown Enriched Face Base. This is also another like original product. It is similar to moisturizer. To me, this has like a bit more richness to it. It's really soothing, it doesn't irritate my skin personally, and it really does give you a beautiful base for makeup. If you have dry skin, this is really nice. I also really like it even though I have combo skin, but it does add a little bit of glow to the face and just makes everything glide on. I do have it on today, and this is the mini size. They do have the big size. It's quite pricey, so it's a good one to pick up during the sale. Now, if you said you wanted a glowy finish that's a little bit more lightweight and has like a pearl radiance to it, the Say Glowy Super Gel is a real classic. I will show you the finish on my hand. This is a water-based primer, so it is extremely lightweight. If you don't like the feeling of makeup on your skin, this is going to be just your favorite product because it's so refreshing, but still gives you that really gorgeous glow that we all like under our makeup. I talk about this one in almost every Sephora video I make, so a good one. Now, if you said that you like both smoothing and glowy primers, I would recommend the iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer because this is truly the best of both worlds. The best of both worlds. Anyway, it is super glowy and beautiful, but it also has like a smoothing base to it. It's also a serum consistency, so it's still nice and lightweight feeling on the skin. This has a slight fragrance to it, so I'd also ask you about that, like how sensitive to fragrance you are. This one is just really beautiful, and as someone who's not like a huge primer person, this I get the point of it. Like, it actually does look beautiful under makeup and makes everything go on a lot nicer. Before we move on to foundations, I would ask what kind of finish of your makeup that you like. Do you like to be glowy? Do you like to be completely matte? Do you like something in between? And if you answered glowy to that question, I would recommend to you the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. Yes, e.l.f. has a dupe for it. It's not as good in my opinion, and they do not have a good fair shade like they do in the Charlotte Tilbury one. She's pricey, but this is actually a really beautiful product. It has a little bit of coverage to it, like you can almost wear it on its own if you love being super glowy. So it adds like a little bit of evenness to your skin. It's just a really beautiful product. It can be a little bit heavy if you use too much, so I would definitely warn you about that. But if you have like normal to drier skin, even oily skin, I think you would like this in moderation as long as you do enjoy a really glowy finish. And just to compare these, I would ask you if you want something a little bit more lightweight or you want something that is a little bit more moisturizing. So those are kind of the difference between these two. This one has a little bit of coverage, this one doesn't. This one's like a lightweight water gel, and this is like a creamy classic radiance product. If you said that you liked light coverage and a glowy finish, I would lead you over to the Caliray Free Dreaming Skin Tint, as long as we could find a shade for you, because the shade range in this is not great. There's not even one that's light enough for me, so it's kind of like a so-so recommendation. Like, I love the formula, but please make more shades of this. This is actually beautiful. Like, it has light medium coverage and it actually lasts all day, and it's not so sheer that it doesn't do anything. Like, it's just what I love in a skin tint, and I really think you would as well. Good one to keep in mind, but the asterisk there is the shade range. Now, if you said that you like lighter coverage but more of like a satiny finish that has more wear to it, or you have more oily skin, the iconic London Super Smoother Blurring Skin Tint. This is such a unique skin tint in the skin tint space, in my opinion. It offers more of like a satin finish. It's not so glowy, so it actually wears really well on oily skin or if you just want something that's more long wearing in general, this one is great. They do actually have a good shade range with this one as well. I use neutral fair, great coverage. Like again, it's not too light, it's just perfection. Moving on to our actual foundations, if you like something that is light buildable coverage and quite glowy, or if you have dry skin. I know I've talked bad about this before, let me explain. The Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation, yes, the original formula is way better in my opinion, but I had this in my collection, so I was like, I need to find a way to use it. So the way that I found is using this with my hands. It's really glowy, so it doesn't last like a super long time on me, but it does actually look really nice. I usually layer this with a powder foundation for more coverage. It actually like looks really pretty for almost all day. So it's one of those things where it's like really depending on your skin type, I would recommend it only if you have like drier skin and you like something that you can really work in with your hands. Maybe you just like really natural makeup. And I also really love the shade range in this, especially if you have like fair olive skin. SF 0.25 is a great fair olive shade. This is like my best match in my collection. Even though it's not my absolute favorite, I still would recommend it for certain people. If you said to me that you wanted something that was like more buildable, maybe you have more drier skin, you like a slightly glowy finish, I would recommend the Westman Atelier foundation stick. I actually really enjoy this product. I don't get to use it a lot because the shade I have, I got when I was self-tan, so it's my self-tan shade. As someone who doesn't love cream foundations or stick foundations, this is beautiful on the skin. It does not enhance texture. It does have that glowier finish. Maybe if you have more mature skin or just like a lot of texture and you want something that's just gonna glide over, this is beautiful. It is a bit more glowy, so you really have to set it down if you're more oily, or if you have drier skin, I think it would actually wear really beautifully. If you have very similar foundation preferences to me, maybe you were previously obsessed with the Bite Beauty foundation like I was, RIP. These are the things I would recommend. These are the more medium coverage options that aren't completely matte. They're more of a satiny to glowier finish, but they're really manipulable. They're really adjustable is what I'm trying to say, is you can adjust the finish depending on how you want them to wear. First, the Kosas Revealer. This is like, looking at all these foundations, I think my favorite. This is one of those foundations that feels so good to wear. I have this on today. It feels like a really beautiful moisturizer. It's just so comfortable. Even though this is dewier on me, it doesn't like bunch up or slip around like a lot of my other foundations do. And I think because it just doesn't have like a lot of silicone in it, it's beautiful with the hands. It can be a little bit heavy depending on how much you use, so really working in with your hands. One of my favorite ways to use it. It also has some SPF in there. This is just such a beautiful formula, and they do have a good shade range for me at least. This actually reminds me I want to get a new one of my best shade. This one is pretty decent for me, very light, cool 120, but the lightest shade has like this neutrally olive tone, which is perfect. This is beautiful and I use it all the freaking time, and it's just one of those that's so enjoyable to use. So really great everyday option. If you said that you like more medium to full coverage but still glowy satin finish, the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation, this is a beautiful foundation. Also something I don't get to use all the time because it is not my shade. I wish I never self-tan and I had foundations that actually match me. But this is the shade LG6. It's too dark, I don't know why you care. But this is like, it is a serum foundation, so it's a bit thinner. It's really buildable. Like you can get this to really be built up, but it still looks like skin and has like this beautiful radiance to it. I think this is kind of underrated. Not a lot of people talk about it, but it is a beautiful one. If you told me you had really oily skin or like no foundations ever last on you, I would totally direct you to the Estee Lauder Double Wear Makeup. This is another OG in the makeup space because it's just like, I don't know what to call it, like glue sounds bad, but like it's like glue for your face. It doesn't come off. It is so freaking long lasting. They do have some new fair shades of this, which I'm interested in because the shade 1W1 Bone is just like a little bit too orange for me. But man, this stuff is thin but full coverage. It doesn't feel like makeup, but it also doesn't like move off your face. It's definitely more of a glam product, so I would make sure that you're comfortable with that. But if you hadn't tried this, I'd be like, give it a shot. So I'm sure that there's a lot of other beautiful foundations out there, but I also want to mention with these recommendations, I do have really sensitive skin, so I actually can't use a lot of the foundations on Sephora that have chemical sunscreens. I'm also allergic to an additive called sodium benzoate. benzoate, I don't know how to say it, which is in so many products. And also NARS in general, I always hear that their foundations are great. Those always irritate my skin. I don't know what is exactly in there, if it's that additive or it's something else, but that's an unfortunate one. I also just didn't love the formulas that I tried. These are my picks here. If you have sensitive skin, at least in a similar way that I do, I think these are good ones because I think they're all fragrance free or relatively like unscented, like at least on the face. Moving into the concealer category, if you said that you like lighter medium coverage, have some drier skin, dry patches, that's sort of your skin concerns, or you just have more mature skin, the Lancome Ultra Wear Concealer, this is really good for like a hydrating serumy concealer that's really buildable but lasts a good amount of time. Slightly too dewy for me, that's why I say if you have more dry skin or you like something with like a little bit more sort of like movement to it. Movement in a good way, meaning it like blends well and is a bit more thin, but once you set it down, it does stay in place. It says all over. I think this is really beautiful for all over the face as well. This is the shade Ivory Neutral. Doesn't really have like a fragrance, kind of just smells like makeup to me, but this is a good one. If you have normal to drier skin and you said that you liked something that is full coverage, the Rose Ink Concealer is so full coverage. It's also really creamy, a bit more emollient. It can actually start to separate in the tube, which is really annoying, so I just make sure to shake it. Also, it gets super messy. Even with those like little annoying things, it's such a beautiful and unique concealer. Shade LX010. It's also a very, very, very fair olive shade. I have it on my under eyes today. It has the coverage. Like if you need coverage, this is your girl. It is a little bit more emollient, so if you have drier skin, it just might sit a little bit better on you than my next option. I think about a month ago, I had tried all the new concealer releases, the Makeup by Mario, the Tower 28, the Makeup Forever, and this one. And this was, it blew all of the other ones out of the water. The Haus Labs Trilacone Skin Tech Concealer, whatever it's called. I have the shade Fair Golden. Listen, I have like very crease prone under eyes, just the shape of my eyes. Makeup in general really likes to move around on my face. That's kind of like my #1 issue. This is the best concealer I've ever tried. Like I feel so comfortable saying that. It's the only thing that doesn't crease on me. It can crease like a very, very slight bit by the end of the day, but compared to all my other concealers, it is just like the absolute best. And it's so full coverage. This thing is gorgeous. If you have those same struggles, please try this out. So I'd recommend this one to those of you with normal to oily skin. You like more full coverage, something that's gonna set down, wear well. It's not too emollient, it's just perfect. Love this. Moving on to setting powders, I would be like, what skin type do you have first off? If you have normal to drier skin, and also if you like a glowier finish to your powders, I would recommend to you the Laura Mercier. This is their translucent loose setting powder, the ultra blur version. This one has a bit of pearl to it, so it has a natural like look to it, which would not be for everybody, but if you do like that, this is really beautiful. This is also their talc free version. It's a little bit thinner feeling, less like really heavy duty like the other one, which is my second recommendation if you have normal to oily skin. Really can't go wrong with the Laura Mercier powder. I really recommend, if you like the powder, to get these big jumbo versions they come out with in the holidays. They are such a good value. I got this one I think a year ago, and like I have so much left, and the packaging is also really cute, so love this. If you said that you were more of a pressed powder person, or maybe someone with a lot of redness or discoloration, I recently tried this and absolutely love it. The Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Pressed Powder. This is the shade Yellow. This is a beautiful finishing powder. If you're not sure the difference between loose powder and finishing powder, loose powder is to like set in your makeup, and a finishing powder is to sort of add like dimension back to the face, or just like a little bit of glow, or in this case with the tint to correct discoloration. I have this on today as well. It is one of the most silky smooth powders. It's so beautiful. It does not look like powder on the skin, so that's another really great attribute of this one. Moving along into contour, if I was talking to you and you said you like really lightweight makeup, you don't like things feeling makeup-y on your face, or you like a little bit more of a natural finish, the KVD Mod Con Contour, I would also recommend this to you if you're like really a beginner with contour, because it is a gel formula. It's a liquid, it's more on the sheer side. In general, it just looks a lot more natural since it doesn't have a ton of pigment to it. It's just so user friendly and it blends beautifully. and it also wears really well, like you can tell. Also, this Fair Cool shade is amazing. Just one of those products that it makes sense. It looks like a shadow because it's a bit more sheer versus something that's so high pigment and that's more for like glam occasions. This is a really good everyday contour. But if you were more comfortable with creams, I have two here to recommend. The Fenty Beauty Cream Contour. Can't go wrong with this, especially this shade Amber. It is an ultra cool tone contour, which is great for us with fair skin, but they also have an amazing shade range depending on your skin tone. This one is a lot more like of a stone color versus the KVD one. Like this one, you could tell just has more pigment, but it's also not super pigmented. Really blendable, has more of like a satiny matte finish. So if you have more oily skin, it's gonna stay probably a little bit longer. That shade is just perfection. Really love this one. If you said to me that you have a really hard time finding a contour shade that looks natural or suits you, I would bring you over to the Danessa Myricks contours and let you look at the shade range and see if there's something for you, because I feel like she makes a lot of unique contours and just like shades that will suit a lot of different people that aren't traditionally in like a lot of other makeup brands. Like this shade, it's light one. You can tell in the pan, it's almost like this greenish yellow color, which for olive skin is really flattering. And I literally have never seen a contour or even bronzer shade that's even like remotely similar to this, because it has more of that yellow base and actually look a lot more natural if you have olive skin than something that's super cool or just like more of a warm tone bronzer. Also just has that pigment and longevity. It's a really beautiful product. Now let's talk about bronzer. If you like a cream bronzer that has some pigment to it, but it blends out so easily, like super user-friendly type of product, Rare Beauty, the bronzer stick, they have some new shades, which I wish they had when I originally bought it, because this one's like a little bit warm for me. It is so pigmented, but this is the most blendable bronzer stick I've ever used. Like it has this velvety like matte feel almost, like not super oily, and it just like melts into the skin. You have to be careful with it because it can be like a little bit much. Like it blends so far. It's just beautiful and so easy to use. Now if you said that you liked cream bronzers with a glowier finish, or if you have drier skin, just really like those moisturizing type of formulas. Tower 28, they have a lot of shades of these. They are the Bronzinos. This one's in Suncoast, which has quite a lot of shimmer in it, but they do have ones that have less shimmer. I just really like the lightness of this shade. Like it's almost basically a highlight for someone with medium skin, but once it's blended out, this has like a slight more golden hue to it. But it is just so glowy because of that shimmer, and it just makes you look like you came back from the beach. And packaging's really cute, a little bit more on the affordable side as well. Now, if you were someone who liked more of a powder bronzer formula, these are my recommendations. First off, if you said you like more of a matte finish, I would bring you over to the Fenty bronzers. There's truly a shade for everybody in this range. I had the shade Into Sun, which is the lightest one. I wish I had something that's like slightly more cool tone, but I really love this. It blends in like a dream. It's just so pretty, and like I mentioned, they have so many shades. My glowy bronzer recommendation would be the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. I don't know where mine is, or maybe if you wanted to get a palette and you know you like all those formulas, but that one is a beautiful baked formula that melts into the skin, has that slight glow to it so it never looks powdery. It honestly lasts forever, and I really like I believe the new Bronze Light is the one that I have. It's so good. They have a lot of different tones and undertones within that range, but beautiful. Moving into blushes, if you have drier skin or you just love cream blushes, these are some of the best. First, the Rose Ink. This packaging is beautiful. It's refillable. I really like the shade Heliotrope because it has a little bit of shimmer in it, and it's just a really gorgeous like pinky nude. They're just so pretty. They have like a bit more of like a not stickiness, but like they're really creamy and beautiful and last all day. I feel like the color's not showing up that well, but that one's really pretty. If you like something that's dewier but still has a lot of pigment, the Tower 28 Beach Please blushes. This is the shade Happy Hour. One of my favorites. It's super bright, super creamy, and very, very pigmented. Like you just get so much bang for your buck with these. Compared to the Rose Ink, it actually has like a slightly less dewy finish. It's just a little bit thinner once you blend it out, but when you are feeling it in the pan, it is really creamy. They're both beautiful and last all day. If you wanted to be a little bit fancy and get something even nicer, the Westman Atelier blush sticks. These are beautiful. I just saw they have so many little sets that came out on Sephora with the red packaging. Those look like great deals if you want to try like multiples of these sticks, because I do like all of the formulas that basically come in this packaging. This is the shade Coquette. It's so creamy. This is like the dewiest option, but still gorgeous. I have this one on today and it's just the prettiest neutral pink that just brightens up the face. They do have other shades. Really like this formula. Like, I do feel like they're pricey, but they feel so luxurious. All right, powder blush. I'm gonna do a little bit more of a rapid fire here. If you wanted a matte finish, Kaja. This is one of their like trios. I hope they still have these. This has a matte blush on the top, beautiful formula, highlight in the middle, cream bronzer on the bottom if you want something that's like on the go, if you do your makeup quickly, or you like something that's just like a little bit more portable. These are so great. But if you love a good glowy blush, the RMS, of course. I talk about these so much, I really do not need to explain, but they're so beautiful. They're big formula, so they're glowy, gorgeous. I do have a discount code for RMS on their website for 20% off, so depending on your tier, that might be a better deal. Another one of my favorites is the Hourglass Ambient Mood Lighting Blush. This one is the shade Mood Exposure, which is like this mauve shade. Has a little bit of the ambient powder swirled throughout it. It's just like the bronzer formula. It's gorgeous, glowy, smoothing, just, it's so airbrush looking if you really like airbrush looking skin. Hourglass is where it's at. Also, the iconic London Silk Glow Duo is really nice. This has a blush and a highlight, so it's a 2-in-1. The blush does have like a little bit of a gold fleck in it, which I don't mind, but I do think the highlighter is really pretty as well. They have different tones of this, by the way, depending on your skin tone. So this is like a really pretty brighter pink. You have this like nice smooth highlight. They both blend out beautifully and are really pretty. Like, this is the glowiest out of everything. The Hourglass in RMS, they have this smoother finish. These are like, you like that glow, you like this. Alrighty, let's talk about highlight. First, I would ask you what level of highlight you like, if you want it to be really natural or very intense. If you said very natural, I would say grab one of the Hourglass ambient lighting powders, or if you were interested in the bronzer and blush, you're probably better off getting the palette. But the ethereal light one is the one that I have, which is the just like white one. It has like a nice cool undertone. This is a finishing powder, which you can use it as a finishing powder. I have more oily skin, so it's like not the best for me. You can use it like all over though, and it looks really pretty. This more concentrated works as a very, very subtle highlight. So beautiful, and it's just that classic Hourglass smoothing blurring formula. This from Laura Mercier is also, I feel like, so underrated. The Highlight in 01 Matte Radiance Baked Powder. I don't know why it's called matte and also radiance. It's one of the most beautiful, glowy, like finely milled highlights. What I like about this is it's actually like light enough on my skin. Like, as you can tell, like it just gives you that glassy glow, but doesn't look like highlight because it's so thin. Now, if you were like, I am down for the glow, like hit me up. Haus Labs, the silver highlight, or any of these in this formula I really like. This is called their Bio Radiance Gel Powder Highlight. It's so pretty. It's a baked formula, so it does have like more of a smoothness to it, but once you have it on, I do have it on today, it just gives you that drama. So pretty, love that. Also, the Dior highlight, this one is really nice because you can mix them, use them as eyeshadows. I got this I think last year during the sale, and I'm like really almost hitting pan on this white shade because I love how light it is. It's pure white. It's one of the only like white golds that I find really flattering on me. Like, it's not like NARS Albatross that's like super gold. It has this like more neutrally gold finish, and these are so smooth and pretty. I actually use them for eyeshadow all the time. And yeah, if you're someone who likes having multiple shades to mix and match, gorgeous. If you told me that you loved cream highlights though, I would get you the Westman Atelier Lit Up Highlight Stick, another one they have in sets in different shades. This is my personal favorite, which is called Lit, which is a really gorgeous like purple, like it's really sheer almost, but it has this purple glow to it that is so pretty. It is more dewy and like the oily side. It's not always my favorite, but I still really love using this one. So if you have like drier skin or just like that super glowy cream, beautiful one from Westman Atelier. All right, let's quickly run through brows. Kosas Brow Pop line, my favorite. the original Brow Pop. I have not tried the micro one, but I'm sure I would like it because I really like this one. The clear brow gel, the tinted one, if you like a tinted one, I prefer the clear. They're just my go-to, not much to say other than they're beautiful brow products. This fills in your brows so quickly and they last all day. Let's talk about eyeliner and mascara first, and then I'll move into like the eyeshadow products because I have a lot of those. KVD Tattoo Liner is a really great basic black liner, but honestly I'd be like, let's go to the drugstore and just get the NYX Epic Wear liner because it's basically the same thing, but if you wanted it, I'd get it for you. And then the Calorie Come Hell or High Water is one of my favorite mascaras at Sephora. This one is so dramatic and thickening. It's like, the one con is the brush picks up too much product, but it wears really well and it's just, she's dramatic. Okay, into eyeshadow. I think this is fun because I would pretty much recommend the same stuff for all skin types, but this is sort of depending on your makeup style. I would say if you like something that is quick, easy, long lasting, these are the products I would recommend for that. The eyeshadow sticks from either Bobbi Brown or Laura Mercier. If you have oily lids or nothing stays, or you just like one color to swipe on, these formulas are almost like the same in my mind, just depends which shade you like better. I'd bring you to both and you could pick. I have golden pink here in Laura Mercier Smoke. Pigmented, creamy, they blend out beautiful. Also the RMS eye lights, I love these. They're a beautiful cream metallic shadow that's not glittery. They apply beautifully. They don't flake, they don't crease, they don't smudge. They have like good for you skincare ingredients. This one, Strobe, is beautiful. You probably know I love these. Now, if you were more of like an experimental makeup person or like really glam looks, Janessa Myricks, they have such fun, just like eye paints and colors. The color fixes, you can use these anywhere you want. This one is the metallic one in Ionic. They have so many different ones, mattes, shimmers. They're all great and last so well. The Twin Flames, I have to swatch this because it's like, I mean, like just look at the color. This is one of those like shifty products. Oh my gosh. The pigment is crazy and like, have you seen anything like that? So unique. Into eyeshadow, if you were someone who likes having a really small amount of eyeshadow that makes it really easy for you, the Charlotte Tilbury Quads. I think Charlotte Tilbury is overhyped a lot in general, but this is one of her products that I actually really enjoy. They have a lot of different colorways of these. This one I really love. It's Mesmerizing Maroon. I don't think they still have this one, but they have a lot that are similar. The mattes are beautiful. I also think the shimmer metallics, they're just they're really creamy and pigmented. I feel like you're paying a lot for these, but you're also getting like really beautiful formulas. They give you that Charlotte look. I feel like that's why Charlotte Tilbury is very popular to begin with, is they're so good at like selling this like certain makeup look and vibe, which for me is not always like the same quality with the products, but this one is like high quality and beautiful. If you said to me that you just want something really neutral every day and you like warmer tones, the Makeup by Mario, this is the Master Mattes palette. Literally just has everything you need for an everyday neutral look, and I like how it's a bit more compact. Like it's not such a huge palette. I use this a ton whenever I'm using warm tones, and yeah, just such a good one. Do also have the Ethereal Eyes, which has some more like neutral cool tones and some shimmers. If you're more into that, I have not personally tried it, but good to mention. Next up, if you were wanting a Natasha Denona palette, I would say that these are my favorites, but I'd let you pick your own. First, the I Need a Nude palette. I don't know if this one is sold out yet. I think the Xenon one is. This I have a whole video on. If you need neutral, cool neutrals, and you feel like a lot of stuff pulls warm on you, you have more fair skin, this is like a dream palette. It is so pretty. I actually have this palette and the Xenon palette on my eyes today. I mix them a little bit. They're just beautiful. Watch the separate video if you want to see swatches and looks. I did a ton of them, but yeah, I think those are absolutely worth it, especially on sale. And then her most recent palette, the Xenon palette, which I just recently reviewed as well, if you want to see. I don't think the beauty comes across on camera as pretty as it is in person, and sort of the nuance on the shades. I feel like on camera, they all kind of seem the same, but in person, trust me, they're gorgeous. If you like cool tones, I'd be like, you're gonna have so much fun with this. Wish it wasn't sold out, but I will check when I post this video. Moving along, I would bring you over to lip liners. I would actually probably de-influence you on these. Unless you really wanted them, I'd be like, okay, you can get them. But these are the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners. These are good. I feel like there's like The NYX drugstore lip liners are basically the same thing, but if you like were really interested in the shades, I like Iconic Nude better than Pillow Talk. I think Pillow Talk is like a good neutral if you have warmer skin. It just pulls warm on me. Like, it's a pretty pink. I just, you know, these were like my favorite purchases ever. But I think that the Sephora Rouge Gel Lip Liners, especially with the 30% off the Sephora collection, are such a steal. This is the shade The Nudist, which is very cool tone. You've probably heard me talk about this one. If you have problems with like lip pencils pulling warm like these ones do on me, check this one out. It's my most natural looking one. These are a bit more creamy and glowy, but I think they're still really pretty. Now let's move on to lip products. If you like something that's like more of a balmy tint or something that's like really lip balmy-esque, the Ilia Balmy tints, these are really nice. I wish they had some more cool tone shades, but if you just love a tinted lip balm that you could throw on, these are great. The Youthforia, these are called their lip glosses. These are more balmy in my opinion. I have the one I use most in my bag, which is like a purple one, but this is the red version. They just have this like, they're not sticky, but they stick to your lips. Like, I just really love how long they last on your lips. Like, they feel more like a lip balm than a gloss. So I really like that one. The Tower 28 lip jellies are really fun as well. These are a little bit more glossy and super smooth and jelly-like. Like, they have that more sheeny sheen to them. Tube lipsticks, I have so many options here. If you don't have a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, I'd be like, okay, let's get you one. This one is a holiday edition one from last year. This one's called Nude Romance. I like the satiny formulas better than the mattes. I think the mattes are overrated and also like pretty dry looking on the lips, but these ones are really pretty and pigmented. This is the shade Nude Romance, by the way. Pulls a bit peachy on me, which I don't mind, but I think that's still a really beautiful formula. If you like something that's like even glowier, the Merit Beauty lipsticks are so good, especially the shade Baby, which is more of like a neutrally pink compared to that Nude Romance. It's just such a beautiful everyday lipstick, and you get this really beautiful luxe packaging as well. I think the Laura Mercier stick lipsticks are another good classic, more satiny formula. This is the shade Rouge Essential. Okay, no, it's the shade Mauve. I also want to mention with all of these lip products, I'm really sensitive to like scented lip products, so all these are either unscented or just so like faint that I don't notice them. Beautiful, and also like none of them taste weird. The Makeup by Mario, if you wanted a matte lipstick, this is a formula that I do actually enjoy. It doesn't look very dry. I also love the shade Erin, which is more of a cool nude for you cool nude lovers. As you can see, it's not as pink as those other shades. Pigmented, beautiful, love it. Ooh, I almost forgot about this one, but if you like slightly more sheer lipsticks that are still like on the satin side, the Kosas lipsticks, this was a limited edition white one, but they're usually in their black containers. This is the shade Vegas. They're just so pigmented and pretty. I really love the shade Rosewater. That's like a classic cool tone pink. Last but not least, if you said you like more of a liquid formula that's really long lasting, Urban Decay Vice Bond. When I first tried these, I hated them, and then I found out how to use them and now I love them. These are a liquid lipstick that don't have a completely matte finish, and once you let them dry on your lips, they look similar to that. It just lasts so long. I love the shade OG Back Talk. Really great, cool, neutral. How to use them, by the way, is you just have to let them dry before touching your lips together. Like, do not touch your lips together. Put it on, let it dry, and then you are set for good. That was a lot of talking, but we got through it. This is all the makeup that I would buy you from Sephora. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and there'll be 2 videos here if you want to keep the fun times going. I will see you in one of those too. Bye.